some of the things we talked about during the question and answer time a little bit, yeah, well, maybe we'll do a little bit of that tomorrow too. But anyway, let me just run a couple of things by you here now. This issue came up last night, you know, the stars and the whatever, and the distance and speed of light and all that kind of thing. And of course, they say it's 186,000 miles per second and everything. And I made the comment that man has been able to stop light.
Not true.
And that has been absolutely true.
No, it isn't.
Okay, it's not. Here we go. Got one of those guys. Well, let's see what the new scientist says here. Breaking the record for stopping light in its tracks. So they're saying that they've certainly been able to stop light. As a matter of fact, June 05, Scientific American, do the inner workings of nature change with time and such? And they say that indeed the word constant is a misnomer. The constants in a three-dimensional world would change if things weren't exactly that way. Something else here now. Science, live science here.
Hey! Back up to the first slide so we can read it.
Hang on a second. No, I'm just doing a little overview. Hey, you need to stop, okay? You need to stop, okay? Scientists stop light in a trapped rainbow. That's November 07. So anyway, just a few little odds and ends there.
Is that a peer-reviewed article?
Yes, it is. New Science. Here's an interesting article right here, okay? Dark influence.
Show us the documentation.
Here's the documentation right here on the screen.
Documentation.
This is not going in.
All right.
I really don't know what you're talking about.
All right, let's let him do his presentation.
Listen,
Yeah.
if you just want to cause trouble, you might as well just leave.
Then why don't you leave?
We're asking you to say what you believe and back it up with proof. That's it.
That's what we're doing.
No, you're not.
Okay. You don't think so? I do. Good for you.
Yeah, can we?
Why don't you just,
Jeez.
Just show us the article. Why is he afraid to show us the article? What's he scared?
Here you go. Here's an article right here. You may go to the library and grab New Scientist, April 05.
It's a magazine, not a journal.
Exactly. Now, imagine trying to figure out what's happening in a film from just a few scattered frames near the end. Now, let's make it even more challenging. The star of the movie is invisible as you watch the rest of the characters going about their business. That's what astronomers are up against in their quest to understand the cosmos. I think it's a pretty good assumption to draw here that there's a lot of unknown out there. Now, people are free to believe, as I mentioned the other day, whatever they want to, but nevertheless, there are two worldviews. There's a man-centered worldview, says everything's here by accident, party, have a blast. There's a God-centered worldview that says there's a creator that put us here, we're therefore accountable. See, there's where the big rub comes in quite often. People don't want the accountability. But nevertheless, what a person believes will determine how they behave. You just can't get around it. Well, anyway, again, creation versus evolution. We'll always hear of it. Everybody always hears of it. They talk about it as though it is some kind of a religion versus science topic. But that's not true. It is religion versus religion and science versus science. We happen to have all the science on our side. They've got a lot of religion on their side. Random House Dictionary. Religion, by definition, is a set of beliefs concerning the cause, nature, and purpose of the universe. Well, I dare say that's pretty much what evolution is. It is a set of beliefs. And people are free to believe whatever they'd like to. People can believe whatever they want. And nevertheless, what is science? You know, every science textbook, every science textbook, including the ones used right here in this region, every science textbook, within the first 50 pages usually, will define what science is. And in your science textbook here, it happens to be on page number 5. It says, what is science? This is in the books that you guys use here. So if you want peer-reviewed journal material, if this doesn't qualify, then it shouldn't be taught here, I suppose, then either. But nevertheless, they all say the same thing. You must have observation, you must have controlled experimentation and such. That's what science is, by the very definition in the very book that's used in this system right around here, okay, in the school system here. So what is science? All science textbooks will say you have to be able to look at it, you have to have observations, you have to have testing. And people are free to believe whatever they want, but then that makes it a religion. Repeatedly, science textbooks will say you have to have experimentation, testing, and observations and such. All science textbooks. Okay, so what is a hypothesis? A hypothesis is a prediction that can be tested. Hypothesis always has to be something you can test. Science textbooks will repeatedly confirm that you must have testing. Raven Johnson biology book here has a little scientific method. We'll get some of that in a little while. Lewis says here, some theories are so strongly supported that future rejection is highly unlikely. For example, most of us are willing to bet the sun will rise in the east tomorrow, or that an apple, when dropped, will fall. Keep that in the back of your mind a moment. In biology, the theory of evolution by natural selection is so broadly supported by different lines of inquiry that biologists accept it with as much certainty as they do the theory of gravity. I find this amazing. All these textbooks, and this came up yesterday also in the question and answer time. In all the textbooks, the reason it came up is because that's what's been taught. They say just as sure as if you drop an apple, it will fall, evolution happened. Well, you can drop the apple. There's your test. You can do the experiment by dropping something. You can jump up and come back down. There's your test. But to say, therefore, it has anything to do with evolution is just ridiculous in my mind. Some people think it matters. Well, but they all say that. If Prentice Hall biology textbook, if you jump up into the air, you'll end up on the ground below. It makes no difference whether you understand or believe in gravity. What goes up must come down.
The theory of induction.
Just as definitely life on Earth has evolved, and is continuing to evolve all around us all the time. They say you jump up and come down, evolution happened. Well, the two things have nothing to do with each other.
Exactly.
Okay? People are free to believe. Let's take a look at some just amazing things that just absolutely defy evolution. Okay? Your digestive system is certainly one of them. Now let's think about this a minute. Your digestive system is so powerful, it'll break down just about whatever goes into it. But it won't break down itself. But yet you can eat a solid item. You can eat a chicken leg. And your digestive system is so powerful, it will take the good stuff out of that chicken leg, send it through the walls and lining of that system, through the walls and lining of another system. It'll take and pump the nutrients throughout your body. It'll take the bad stuff and send it out 2 or 3 different ways. I mean, it's amazing when you think about what's taking place there. But yet, if you chew up something and you don't do such a great job with it, bag of chips or something, or a chicken bone or whatever, you scratch yourself down there, you've got a serious problem on your hands. You know, the lining that houses that digestive system is very, very delicate. How can something so delicate yet so powerful come together and work blind random chance? The thing should pick itself apart in the process of coming about. But nevertheless, hey, look, let's take a look at something now. Our bodies are about 98.5 degrees. Now think about it. As you sit there right now, your body is about 98.5 degrees. All right, now let's think of the food that we ate just in this room just today. I bet there are people in this room right now today that had cheese. I bet somebody in this room had sour cream today. I bet there are people in this room that had milk today. I bet there are people in this room right now that had meat of some sort today. I bet somebody sitting in this room had some kind of fruit today. Maybe you had some orange juice this morning. Maybe you had a grapefruit or whatever. I bet there are people in this room right now that had eggs today. Now let's think about this a minute. Think of the food that we ate. Let's take all the food ingredients that we ate and put them in a bowl and set that bowl outside on a 98.5 degree day for about 3 days straight. From the time it's in your body, it goes in, to the time it's done with it, it's about 72 hours.
8 hours.
Now, what is that bowl going to be like when you walk up to that thing 3 days later? It's going to be pretty rank. But you know your body is housing that stuff right now as you sit there, and it's working with it. And it's taking the good, taking the bad, then it's sitting with it where it ought to go. That is amazing what's actually taking place if you really stop and consider. It's an amazing thing. I bet nobody in this room has to take your liver out once a year and kind of hose it off with the garden hose and clean the thing out, and stick it back in. You know, your liver filters everything that goes into your body. You drink it, breathe it, you eat it, swallow it, whatever. It goes into your body, it is filtered through your liver. And people abuse that filter for over 100 years, and it keeps on working. Now seriously, wouldn't it be nice if somebody could come up with an air conditioner filter that could last 1 season? I mean, seriously, we're supposed to believe one of these just evolved blind random chance, but the other one had to be made? That doesn't make any sense.
Natural selection is not random.
This one obviously is much more complex than this one over here. It's just amazing. People are free to believe time and chance can do that if they'd like to. People are free to believe whatever it is they want to. But then that's a belief system, you see. It's not science.
Evidence is not belief.
Now watch this. All of these textbooks these days have these vestigial structures pages in them. Your textbook has them also. They say there are things in our body that has no useful function. The tailbone has no apparent use. The appendix has no known function. They say they're useless features from back when our ancestors used to use them. Well, let's think about that for just a minute. That's not true. That's just flat out a lie. You know, your appendix, as your food is being digested in your small intestine, about 21 feet worth of it, when it's through with it, it dumps it into the large intestine. Where it dumps it into the large intestine is at the bottom of the ascending colon. Ascending means uphill. That is the only place in our bodies that stuff has to make an uphill journey defying gravity. And the appendix sits at the bottom of that thing. And it's the thing that secretes the enzymes, to create the muscular contraction, work that stuff uphill. It has lubricant to lubricate the linings, and all kinds of very useful function, immunology features and such. Now there's no question, there are people in this room that do not have an appendix. But folks, because you can live without something doesn't mean you didn't use it while you had it. But that's ridiculous. But that's what the book said. They're just leftover vestiges that you don't use anyway. Then that's simply not true. But nevertheless, watch this. The coccyx is the small bone at the end of the human vertebral column. It has no present function and is thought to be the remainder of bones that once occupied the long tail of the primitive ancestors.
Your arguments are 3 decades old.
Let's think about this thing now. This is